Good evening! Tonight, we're doing some more solo challenges. So, last time, which is a few weeks ago at least, because of the new patch and stuff happened, it's been a while since we went in last. But last time, we went into Castrum Meridianum. We reached the final boss, like we pretty much reached the final boss. And then we timed out. Like, we literally ran out of time. The reason why we ran out of time was because we wasted, I believe it was 24 minutes wiping on the first boss. And if we had had those 24 minutes, we might very well have been able to actually beat the final boss in time. On that note, that means that, so I have a question for you all watching, is that would you rather watch me try and figure out if I can beat the first boss again, considering that I showed that it can be done last time, or would you rather I see if we can gather 3 people to help me, and then we just, like, reach the final boss so that I can demonstrate whether we can actually beat the final boss alone, rather than going through the entire thing again. That is pretty much exactly, Lemon. It's going to be a poll, but I wanted to be sure that everyone understands what the poll is before I pose the poll. So, just to clarify, the question is, would you like me to solo the entirety of Castrum Meridianum? Or would you or do you think that it was fine that last time you saw that I could solo all but the last boss and then we ran out of time? So we just need to see if we can beat the last boss. And then we move on to, like, you know, other content instead of spending maybe the majority of the stream in only Castrum. And I'm going to leave it as a vote for you all. There we go, I think. And hello Ymir, hey Lemon, hey Kain, hey Mihoels, and hey Gilano and Kitsuneko. I hope you're all doing well. They're doing very well. And Gilano's here with me, dancing. And hey Orion, I hope you're doing well as well. Right. So, once again, so last time we spent around 24 minutes on the first boss, specifically 24 minutes soloing the first boss, and wiping on it. That didn't include the part where we actually beat it, or anything leading up to it. Someone calculated it for me, that it was 24 minutes or so that was specifically wasted on failed attempts. So that means that if you can solo the final boss within 24 minutes, then based on my previous run, that would be possible. You know, it's a bit like speedrunning, where you would have a spliced run, right? It's the difference between having, you know, a connected single segment and going, well, if you take this part where it did well, and then take this part where it did well, and combine them, then you can. For me, I think the interesting part is figuring out whether you can. Just the general concept. Which I think is interesting to explore. And hey, Matthew's here. Hey Gwyn and hey Cal, I hope you are both doing very well as well. So, dancers are, yeah, they are apparently. Very nice. And thank you, Kitsuneko. So, it looks like it's going to be just the final boss, so that also requires that I actually have 3 friends to help me there. Just to be completely clear how that's going to work, is I'm going to bring 3 friends. We go all the way through the dungeon, and then I guess the most fair way to do it is that everyone else leaves the group. Specifically because if we are everyone there, then I would benefit from party bonuses, and that would be cheating. And then of course I would have to be able to do it within 24 minutes, otherwise it's not possible, like based on my previous attempt. That was the time that was lost, specifically. I hope that sounds fair to everyone. Right. So are there anyone in the chat that is on Chaos that has time to help me there? Remember, there are some cutscenes that we can't skip. Lemon says, can't mess up my rotation if I had like 3 buttons. Well, it's no rush. We just have to make it to the final boss, like just before the final boss, with like 24 minutes. Or 20 minutes even, and I'm pretty sure that is not challenging. So the game plan is, we reach the final boss, and well then basically you all leave, because I think you still get a party bonus for just for being oops all healers, so that would still be cheating. I think. Then I just hope that because we queued specifically for it, that it doesn't give anyone the lever punishment. It shouldn't. Let me just see, so we do like this. I'm pretty sure, just to be sure that everything is correct. Right. So, once again, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page, last time we did the solo challenge stream, I went into Castrum Meridianum, wiped on the first boss for 24 minutes, killed the boss, went on to clear the entirety of the dungeon, except time ran out, like, just as we ready to engage the final boss. Just about. I think we had like a little bit of HP left on one of the giants, like those iron giant things. But yeah. So the question is more that, if you did it in a single attempt, could you do the final boss in 24 minutes? And pretty sure it's not going to take 24 minutes in a single attempt, but to be fair, if I was wiping on the boss for 24 minutes, that's still, you know, then I wouldn't have been able to do it last time. So what we're doing is we're making a group, running all the way up to the final boss, so that we can see whether I could have beaten it if I had had time that wasn't lost due to wiping. And the reason we're doing that is because I think it's more interesting to explore other dungeons than me spending 3 hours in the Castrum. I don't know what... I assume that was sort of in the cards when the vote came on. That we get to do more stuff by doing it this way. And I think that's more entertaining for all of you. And me. Do we have a grey one to put in the middle? Or a white one, maybe? Yeah, that means that we will spend the first a little bit actually getting to the boss. Oh, 90 minutes. Well. Oh, just a moment. There we go. We had that turned down last time as well because the alarm is a little bit obnoxious. Oh, I didn't have to do that. So the interesting thing with this boss, the thing that makes it so challenging, is that while you can kite most of the mobs to make them do very little damage, all of the humanoids, if you just leave them be for a bit, they will actually cast a spell on themselves that makes them hit like 4 times harder or something to that effect. Like, if you ignore them, they'll get really mad about it. And for the most part, the melee ones will still do significantly less damage simply because they spent so much time chasing you. They will do too much damage over the course of a fight, but the key problem that makes this fight so incredibly hard is that there are ranged mobs between them that also do it. So when I did it last time, the winning move that made it so that I actually had a clear was specifically that we had a run where I managed to kill all of the mages and like one lancer before it got overwhelming, like before I ran out of cooldowns to use. That was the only difference between all of the attempts, pretty much, was that I had one where I managed to kill an extra lancer before it became too much. Something like that. And I am willing to say that it is possible that I did it because of luck. Like, I had lucky crits in between that caused the win in the first place. That is very, very possible. And that is also part of the reason why I thought that it might be better to do it like this. Because if the reason why I beat it was luck, then it means that we might sit here for 3 hours before I have a run where I go into Castrum Meridianum, kill all of the trash up to the first boss, kill the first boss in the first try, and then go on to clear the rest of the dungeon, which still takes, you know, a good part of an hour. So to remove the luck time that might be wasted, we just go, well, I already kind of did it, and then just skip to the part we don't know if it can be done. I'm pretty sure that the final boss can be soloed. I'm pretty sure it can be done. So for me, it's more interesting whether it can be done rather than whether it can be done in 24 minutes. But because I'm pretty sure that the boss isn't tanky enough to spend 24 minutes. Oh right, the death claws that then lead into another pack. I remember when I was doing this last time that these packs were so easy that they could actually be cleaved and I was perfectly safe. Like, a healer can solo these without, like, any shenanigans. If you can get to them, of course. Now I also remember this boss took like 10 minutes on its own or something like that, just because it was so tanky. And just crazy amounts of HP. Yeah, exactly, that is the reason. That, like, those kinds of reasons is why I thought it was probably fine to just see if we can beat the final boss. Is that it's so much repetition that might not be interesting to see again. Orion says, I just had a very long run of Hullbreaker Isle. How did it become super long? Like single pulls all the way? Oh, Lemon leveled up. Nice. The tank not keeping aggro. Oh. Well, it's probably better that it single pulls all the way if the tank isn't even keeping aggro, right? It's probably for the best. Did they not use tank stamps? Or were they not using, like, AoE? Really strange that would happen. Speaking of strange, it's a little bit weird that Sid comes out of a closed door. That is exactly part of the, like, one of the reasons why it can get a little bit awkward when people start, you know, like, pick up something like Gunbreaker as their first tank, is that they might not actually be entirely clear on what buttons do what. Like, the sheer amount of buttons might be overwhelming, and then they forget something as simple as, you know, your AoE button. Right, so after these mobs, we just take a moment to figure out what we do, and then I will be soloing the boss. So as I said last time, the time ran out while I was fighting those 2 giants that came down at the end. But they were close enough that it's like a minute, maybe, and I would be ready to fight the boss. So as I said, like, if you can beat this boss in, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, then it's possible. Like, in one singular attempt. Because one thing is being able to beat the boss, another thing is, well, if you can't beat it on time, then it's not very helpful. Like, then you can't solo the dungeon. Right, so as I said, it's probably best that the group, like everyone in the group leaves, so that I don't have a party bonus, because that's still like a good 4%. I'm pretty sure I lose the healer party bonus if I'm the only person here. Which means that I would lose like 4% worth of stats. And 4% it's pretty big. When we're talking like margins, like me saying, oh, I killed 1 extra mob, like we're talking like 1 GCD making the difference. Oh, they just teleport us in. Right. So I am pretty sure that if you leave, it's fine. The reason why you can't just hang out is because of the party bonus here. If you're in party with me, then I get this bonus. And even if you had all been healers, I would still have gotten the healer party bonus. So that's why I'm saying maybe it's best if there's no one but me in the group. I hope that is understandable. And the reason I'm saying it, because I can't, I'm pretty sure I can't, like, I don't want to kick you. Thank you, Lemon. And thank you all for the help. Thank you very much for assisting me with setting it up. And then I hope you're not suddenly getting the lever debuff. That would be very annoying. Or lever, you're not banned. Okay, that's good. I was pretty sure that the reason why we had that specific instance with Coco months ago was because we were in a roulette. But just good to get that clarified. Right, so we have a food buff. Anything else? We have potions. Is that the correct potion? Yep, that is the correct potion. We're not... I could have brought the, like, fancy schmancy potion from the Grand Company, but let's just say hypothetically that I used it on the first boss, right? We want a critical at Locurium to start with and close to full HP. We're just going to fish for that until we get it, and then we pull. This is also going to be our best try, because this specific try I get to start with an extra 3 ether flow. It's pretty important that we make the most of it. Did I lose all my crit luck? Any critters? Imagine getting a critical at Locurium in Castrum within 1 minute. Critical hit at Locurium speedrun over here. There we go. All right, now we can play the game. Yeah, some pre-fight gambling. Oh, she hits really hard. I should just be kiting her instead of using Art of War. That's not worth it. You better not one-shot me with that. That is a lot of damage. Oh, that's why it's called that in the high level dungeon. Can I fish for a bigger one? Yes! There's my crit luck. Excellent. Perfect. She's actually very, 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 very tanky. Now that I'm looking at it. See, 1. 2. 3. Okay, 3 of them. Is that the thing she just did that took like a year to resolve? Please say it's not. Oof. That is big damage. Alright, that one again. The roundhouse. There's also the soft enrage that comes later. That might be scary. Right, the 2. Do you then do a tank buster? You did before, I'm pretty sure. No? Yes? I need to make sure I use Lucid Dreaming on cooldown. This is otherwise I am actually going to run out of MP with Ruin 2 spam like this. Not using Lucid Dreaming. Yeah, I know, right? For all my talk about using Lucid Dreaming, isn't it incredible that I would forget? Tank Buster? Yes. Yes, come for me. Run! Run, Livia! Run! Ow! Oof. You know, with the sheer amount of HP she has, I could actually imagine that 24 minutes would actually be a tough call. That maybe you can't actually do that in time. We might be fine if we're like keeping up the pressure all the time. We're a third of the way through, and I think we've been at this for like 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes. I don't remember what the timer said exactly when we started this fight. Tank Buster? Run! Ah, my bio. My bio. Hit me. Hit me like you mean it. This is the easier one, I feel, because there's usually not a tank buster follow-up. Looks like I'm recovering MP again now that I'm actually using my stuff on cooldown. Come then. Fight me. Ow. You're almost halfway. Is that then roundhouse time? Yes. And then there's the two proximities. And then there's the tank buster. Timia says, are you ready for the DPS check at the end? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see if I am. That is the big deal breaker on whether or not, like, this seems to be very manageable, right? Like, this can be done. This part is clearly doable, and we've got her below 50% in less than 10 minutes. So, well, we got her before 10 minutes had passed, at least. So from that alone, we can surmise that if we're allowed to keep up the attack for the rest of the fight in this way, then this is doable. Like, in less than 24 minutes, the thing is you need to get, like, a perfect run to have enough time to kill her in time. Which would not have worked if I'd done this whole thing on my own, I think. But we'll see. I feel like the DPS check in the last bit is more the fact that you need to keep everyone alive all at once. But if you just need to keep one person alive as a healer, that might be very manageable. As long as she's not using tank busters, then we're good. Is what I'm thinking. If she just does not use any tank busters, then I can do it. Like if she just does that repeated AoE, the artificial plasma, with slightly increasing damage every time, that should be survivable. Is what I'm thinking, at least, but we'll know for sure when the part comes up, right? 1/3 left. Run! I haven't even used sprint. I could have used sprint. I think we could have saved some MP and such. But not... It wouldn't save that much, actually, because usually what costs me a lot is healing up before and after the tank buster. That's usually what costs me the most resources, and that's going to happen every time anyway. Maybe I can sprint a bit now. Dun -dun 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 -dun. I'm going over here. I don't know what you're doing over there, but I'm going over here. I'm going over here. Chase me. Chase me! Assuming that DPS check at the end isn't overwhelming, this fight has been way easier than Black Eft. Like, it's not even close. Not even close. Oh, there it is. Oh. I didn't think it would be like this. Is that it? I'm not actually sure if that was more or less, because I blocked the entire thing. It's the same damage. It's not a soft enrage. She's just doing the same damage 3 times repeatedly. Well then. Can you stop with the swearing, Livia? Rude. I'm just saying, my pet can pretty much keep up with that damage on its own. It's It would be pretty funny if she just suddenly had a hard enrage. Just out of nowhere. And a book smack to finish. There we go. That took around 17 minutes from what I could see. Like, it took around 12 minutes. I believe, let's see. The Aerodel left at 2022. It's 2040 for me now. So 18 minutes. Sure, 18 minutes. But it is actually so. What matters here is if you can beat the Black Eft without wiping and beat the entirety of the dungeon at the pace that I did. Honestly, there were multiple places where I could have done better in my original attempt. A lot of things where I was being too careful for no reason. Places wasn't going faster than I could. Things like that. But if we just take that part out and say if you don't wipe on the Black Eft, you get about 24 minutes. Then you have, like, if you have around 18 minutes, you can beat Livia. That is that is the time constraint. You have around like 6 minutes to spare, maybe 5 if we count the time it took to kill the giants, and then maybe 4 if we say there's also the cutscene, maybe even 3. But it took less time than we had, so that's ultimately what matters. Interesting. It can be done, but I'm pretty sure you need luck. I'm pretty confident that I beat the Black Eft with luck originally. Like I'm not gonna put a lid on that. Just pretty sure I remember multiple times getting the lucky Adlocurium crit, and even one point where I had a lucky Lust Rate that like healed just enough and things like that. So the fact that the time is so strict that you need to do it in the first try means that it's going to take possibly a lot of attempts to get past the Black Eft in the first try. It's possible that I wasn't as lucky as I think I was. Yeah, it can be done. Can you solo Castrum Meridianum synced? Yes. You can, but it's not easy and it's not guaranteed. It's luck-based. Just to add to this, for anyone watching, because I know some people like to actually make a character and solo the game from the beginning. I was using like max level gear that then got synced down. I was actually also using a relic weapon, but in that fight in the last run that we did, I was not using this weapon. I was using this weapon in comparison, so it was less stats. And last time the stats mattered more. The reason why this is important is because that means that the specific stat distribution might be different from what you would have if you were doing it solo, because you can get solo legitimately gear that is so good that it syncs down to almost capped out stats, just the same as a crafted set like this would, is accessible at level 50 without having seen credits. Talked with someone named Blue about that last time, I believe. So the main difference is exactly the stat like distribution. It's like very small, like single-digit stat differences here and there, but I'm pretty sure that with the same luck, it wouldn't matter. Pretty sure. But it can be done synced, at least. So that was nice. We managed to rock the Castrum. Yeah, that was a good song. I think it's really funny that the soft enrage there at the end isn't really a soft enrage. Like, so it did like 300 or 400 damage per hit and does like 3 hits, and then there's a break and then another 3 hits. If you're 4 players, then it takes like then you're doing then she's doing like nearly 5,000 damage spread across the party. That's a lot more than when she's just doing it to one person. But the only way that it actually becomes threatening is that your healer would have to stop attacking to cast Medica 2 or a Succor or something like that. Even if we sat on like the last bit for 2 minutes or something like that. Now, If I remember correctly, Gaius in Praetorium has like a DPS check, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he has like a mechanic where he like summons like clones that you have to kill. If you don't kill them in time, you lose. Pretty much. Is that right? You need to kill him before you fall asleep. That is an interesting DPS check. Could you imagine? Ah. No, wait. Wasn't that a different boss in Final Fantasy XI? Where that was so weirdly tuned that some people tried to brute force it by just fighting it for like 48 hours. Was that exaggerated? Was it a little bit less? In that fight, the DPS check would be to kill it before you fall asleep. Matthew says there is a DPS check. I don't think anyone other than Blue can solo synced. So the thing is, if there is a DPS check, the question is always, how strict is the DPS check? If I remember correctly, in a 4-man group doing it, that bar can easily get over half full. And if that's true, then one person, like a normal job, wouldn't be able to do it. Because, you know, that would take 4 times more time. Is at least my assumption. We could go and do it as Blue Mage. We can also do something else. Let's see. We could also do some of the post-game dungeons, like just post-A Realm Reborn dungeons. I think it's a little much to do all of them. But we could do a few of them. You got the horse, Emir. Congratulations. You could probably solo keep up the lake, actually. But is the dragon intermission also DPS check? I can't remember. Snowcloak is probably also soloable. I think. Some of the trash packs might be really brutal. I feel like that would work better than like doing everything. And most of the dungeons on the list are optional. That would be a reasonable way to like count them out. Okay, so I'll make a poll again. This time, just to preface, it's going to be, we can try Praetorium with a normal job. Based on what Matthew just said, it's pretty much going to be like guaranteed failure, but we can see if we can do it. We also will have Praetorium with Blue Mage, see if we can do that. We also have the new Blue Mage spells. We can also try Snowcloak. And finally, if you're actually more interested in seeing some more tools, we can also just skip to Heaven's Ward. The reason why I'm suggesting Snowcloak is because there's so many here, and I know Snowcloak is part of the MSQ, so that sort of makes sense, right? So choose whichever one you would like to see, and then I'll see what people are most interested in doing. Scholar might also not be the correct job for whatever it is that we end up doing. We have a few options. Like, usually Warrior, Gunbreaker, and Scholar, or maybe even Sage, tend to be, like, interesting options. And then when we do get to Heaven's Ward, we will eventually get to a Warrior Masterclass. Gilana says, in Final Fantasy XI, Absolute Virtue, right, that was the name, caused a health scandal because people tried to kill it for hours or days on end. If I remember correctly, it was like they tried to brute force it, and then when it reached a certain health threshold, it just used benediction on itself. Something like that. I also think there was something, like, so I watched like a whole video on it, and one of the things was that because of latency and things like that, it was nearly impossible to do what was required to beat the boss, like specific combos and stuff like that you had to do quickly. And it was just too difficult, and it wasn't obvious. So even if you knew that you needed a combo, it didn't mean necessarily that you knew what combo you needed. And the sheer amount of players needed also didn't help. Oh, we have 9 votes. Anyone that would like to throw their hat in the ring? I see we have a draw. A draw! On staccato! Ryan says, Adamant toys in Final Fantasy 15 also took a very long time to kill. What? Depending on your level. So, what's the upper bound? What's the upper bound on the Adamant toys? Oh! Look! Ilmia got the full collection! Guy is playing Pot of Greed on stream. It allows me to draw 2 cards from the top of my deck! Well, if we're going to have a draw, then I think the best solution is to say that we do Praetorium first, because that's before Snowcloak, and then we do Snowcloak, and then we'll vote if depending on what time it is by the time we reach that point. So it's Praetorium with Blue Mage that is what we're doing first. I don't actually have the new fancy scepter, but that's fine because we're getting scaled down anyway, so I just did the materia don't matter. Now, what spells do we need? What spells do we want and what spells do we need? We need Wide Wind, Diamond Bag, yeah, those are all very nice. Yeah, those are all fine. The question is what we don't need, I suppose. Devourers, we don't need that. We don't need Angel Whisper. That is pretty safe. We don't need Stotram either. We want Ultra Vibration. Exactly, not Angel Whisper. I don't think Chelonian Gate is needed. Don't think it's needed. I'll sit on it just in case we can't find. Rehydration is actually pretty nice to have because it's a cheap heal. Its cast time is a little annoying, but it's a cheap heal. I also have a Deep Clean and Peat Pelt because it allows me to like build up regen while attacking. It's not much, but like if I'm fine, then I can do that to like prep for some damage. It looks like we have, well, we want Missile just in case it works on something. We don't have the Triple Trident combo. Can we somehow make space for that? Is there something that we don't need? The only way to make space for it is by dropping these 3? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I probably need a tank. I prefer to solo dungeons with Blue Mage in tank mode. I feel like the defense is extremely underrated. I always bring that. Thank you. Yeah, we probably shouldn't bring Apocalypsis. Oh, right, sorry, I didn't actually end the vote, but it seems like it was pretty good because it actually ended up being what I went with. Is Apocalypsis bad? So the thing with Apocalypsis is it's mutually exclusive with being mortal, and Apocalypsis on a good day is twice as strong as being mortal on a single target. But on a bad day, it's a 10-second channel where you can't do anything else. Whereas being mortal is just done, which is, you know, easier to utilize. On a striking dummy, people that like really specialize in Blue Mage found that there is a rotation that uses Apocalypsis that has a higher DPS than one that uses being mortal. The problem is that you need to use Moon Flute every minute, and you need to find 5 to 10 seconds to channel a thing every minute, which most actual bosses will not give you space to do. Emia says, what extreme trial is best to found for Nightmare? Which ones drop it again? Oh, wait a minute, we want Mortal Flame, and we also want Breath of Magic. We absolutely need those. That means those go. Just immediately. Mortal Flame is insane. Absolutely ludicrously good. We need that. Completely forgot because I haven't had the opportunity to use them. Every A Realm Reborn extreme. If you can one-shot any one of them, then that's the best one, probably, in that case. If there's any one of them that you can one-shot, you use that one. Ruby Dynamics. That is such a weird spell. Do any of you see any spells that you think I might not need? I feel like the only one that is like excess is Chelonian Gate. We might not need Chelonian Gate, but with just a single slot, I'm not sure what I would replace it with. I think if there's a fight that calls for a removal of a detrimental effect, then Exoviation will take Chelonian Gate's spot. But I think that's all. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, Dimensional Shift straight up doesn't have a fail chance. That is actually interesting. Like, a cast per minute, it's way worse than Missile, but a 100% success rate is pretty good. It's pretty nice. We don't have Basic Instinct. Well then, that was the one I had forgotten. There we go. We had exactly the slots for the spells that we wanted. Right, so Praetorium. Let me just check. I think we're just going to do it synced, not the minimum item level. I think that is fine. Since we've already determined. Wait, just a moment. Can one of you change to tank for a second? I don't want to have Excogation stock on my bars on Blue Mage. Oh, Emia's back. Oh, thank you. And then we go. So we do this. We try this, and then we do. Then we try Snowcloak with a normal job, and then we see what time it is. You know, these cutscenes might be a lot more manageable if they were voice acted, don't you think? I think that would help a lot. With the amount of sitting there and the weird thing is that it is voice acted in the second half. Rip glib, that's true. No more glib. F for glib. Hello there. Do I have all of my spells on my bars? Yes, 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 yes. Rehydration is there, White Wind is there, Diamondback, sheesh, yes, yes. It would be really awkward if I was missing something and just didn't use it because it wasn't on my bars. I always forget that Glib is gone. That is very glib, actually, that glib is gone. Ugh. Ugh. Hello there. Would you like... Wait. I don't have Bristle. I will need Bristle. What do we get rid of? Can we get rid of anything? Well, I think I'm going to use... I'm probably just going to use Diamondback when there's a tank buster coming. Punch! Glib is gone. Such devastation. I didn't realize that how very Glib was gone. It's been so long. Did they remove it with the rework? Diamondback is definitely needed for some of the tank busters or stacks. Yeah, that makes sense. The reason why I'm saying maybe we won't need Dragon Force is more that that's 40%, I believe. But in any situation where we might need Dragon Force, we probably need Diamondback, is what I'm thinking. That like kind of solves that conundrum. No, you don't need Dragon Force because it's not good enough. It's not good enough to go through the fire and flames. Lemon says, I'm pretty sure the rework is what killed Glib. Oh. How very glib. Does he say how very glib after the boss fight? Is that why? There was also a time even longer ago where you had like a choice, like a response choice, I believe. That was then removed because that means that the cutscene like doesn't completely halt. No. 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 Oops. The elevator left without me. Oh, thank you, random iron giant. Thank you for clicking the elevator for me. Thank you very much. I'll take this down while no one is looking. Camera, you sold me out. Tell me, for whom do you fight? How very glib. And do you believe in Eorzea? Oh yeah, I do remember that. Well, first of all, hold this. Oh, that doesn't work on it? Why not? Why not? Oh, you weren't in combat, is that why? Okay, so don't pull with it. Duly noted. Does missile work on you? No. Cannot pull with Mortal Flame. Yeah, right. I forgot the part where they have to already be in combat. Wow, Devour heals for way more than I thought it would. Boonk. It is such a weird teleport, because it's like, there's like a whole down segment over to an elevator. Like a whole segment that it just like teleports you to. Or teleports you through. Yumi says, I left for like a minute and you're already on the first boss. That's Blue Mage. Why are you not dead? Yeah, the huge thing that the new ability, the new spells for Blue Mage adds is when soloing stuff, if there's no hard, like, enrage or DPS check of some sort, then if you can survive, like, if you can just hold on, then Mortal Flame will just slowly kill the boss. Like, if it works, you can apply it, and you can, then it will eventually kill the boss. Like, even if you have no space to do anything but spam Blood Drain and heal yourself, then the boss will die without you doing anything. You just need to hold on long enough for time to pass. So the big question is, how strict are the DPS checks on Gaius? And how hard does he hit with stack markers and tank busters? That is the two questions, and if his tank busters are strong enough, we will have to like sacrifice some spell to make space. Potentially. For stuff like Dragon Force. It's a laser fence. My only weakness, a laser fence, and 2 arms. Just randomly. Bonk. In my defense, on not understanding how Mortal Flame works, is that by the time I grabbed Mortal Flame, I was doing like trials and stuff with groups, and usually I was the tank or a healer, and the tank never gets to be the person with Mortal Flame, and the healer usually doesn't get to be the guy with Mortal Flame. So I almost forgot it even existed. I also didn't have Breath of Magic, because usually like 3 of the DPS Blue Mages have Breath of Magic, just in case. When like unlocking spells. So I just, I'll just pass on that. I'll just save that space for myself for something that I'd like to have. And the reason why that is because both Mortal Flame and Breath of Magic has this restriction that only one instance of the debuff can be on any one target. So only one of your Blue Mages can use each of them. Which is also why nowadays there's like 3 Blue Mage openers, like 3 optimized Blue Mage openers with Moonflute and everything. One for Breath of Magic, one for Mortal Flame, and one for neither. And the one with Mortal Flame is of course only used the first time around. And then for the rest of the fight you just use the one with neither. I never noticed the music changed here. Another cutscene! Why can't I hold all these cutscenes? It's so funny that after this fight, there's like voiced cutscenes, but this fight and everything before, there's no voice lines. Emir says, I love how long Praetorium is. Really? I think the fact that it isn't too challenging is pretty good, because the way people usually like stomach it is simply that they put on like a TV show or something on their other monitor. Maybe they put like on a stream with some guy soloing Praetorium with a Blue Mage, and then they do Praetorium roulette while they're watching someone do Praetorium alone. But if the fights were like difficult in any way or involved, then it would be like, oh, I kind of have to like turn off the video and focus after every cutscene. I feel like that might make it a lot more annoying. Magitrek says, more Praetorium per square Praetorium. Indeed, it's Praetorium cubed. You could even put on multiple streams of someone doing Praetorium. It'll give you so much Praetorium that you don't want to do it anymore. You had a bad frontline team, Orion? Yeah, that happens, unfortunately. Stake to useless. What job were you playing, Orion? Summoner. Yeah, that one can be hard if your team isn't supporting you. It's like the artillery job. Doesn't really do much if you're alone. Just the other day, I did Shatter as Monk. My team... I think we were like... I'm pretty sure we had last place, but we actually did really well. I'm pretty sure we got last place, maybe second place. But let me put it like this, we could not win a team fight. The way that I got the most kills and the most damage done on my team was every time I found someone I could 1v1, I just beat them to a pulp. Because Monk. Like every time I found someone alone, maybe if there's two even, because if there was two players, the single person I was just like breaking apart wouldn't leave. Like they'd stay because, well, we're outnumbering you. Surely you can't beat the both of us. And I just go, I only need to beat one of you, and then I'll leave. And just pull with Breath of Magic instead. I want to see how much damage it does. I might die flat out. Oh, only half. Let's see how much that does. That would do 2,000... Wait, it would do... Yeah, it would do 2,000. That would be survivable. Wait, can I do this? No. Let me see. How much damage will you do to me? Oof. Let me see if I can survive it. I want to see how much damage does it do. I can ignore that. You have missile. It seemed like he was that it didn't work on his apps, so I assumed it wouldn't work on him. Orion says at the start we were split up. I think we were only started earning points when the other two parties already had like 300. Which frontline is it today? I didn't test if missile worked on Nero, but I sort of just assumed that it didn't. Because it didn't work on his ads. Like, what are the chances that missile would work on the boss but not his ads? It's not 0, but it's not high. Seal Rock. But yeah, that one goes to like 700 points total, right? Like that ends incredibly fast. What's the drop chance of Nightmare? Good good question. Does anyone know? I feel like the drop chance is like 90% if you already have it. I'm surprised you don't have it, Emia, since you have all of the other horses. But usually I don't feel like those drop rates are like written anywhere. Ryan says, well, it ends even faster when your team are sharp as a bowling ball. Huh. That is not very sharp. A pretty good one. Yeah, it's rough when your team isn't really like trying anything. Like that's what was happening in Shatter when I was playing the other day. Is that as a monk, I could do a lot of damage to the ice cube things if I was allowed to get close. The thing is that my team, no one on the team, no one wanted to engage. So if any other team had like surrounded a cube, then we just couldn't do anything, and I couldn't do anything because I would get focused alone. If I engaged, the rest of the group would just be like, oh sweet, 5 seconds to attack the cube while this person distracts the enemy. Genius! And then I just die for nothing.
Tell me, for whom do you fight? Do you believe in Eorzea? Eorzea's unity is forged of falsehoods.
I fight for Glib. The Glib that is gone.
Is an instrument of deception. It is not but a cobweb of lies. To believe in Eorzea is to believe in nothing. In Eorzea, the beast tribes often summon gods to fight in their stead, though your comrades only rarely respond in kind, which is strange.
I fight for the Glib that we may yet save.
Otherwise engaged, I was given to understand they were your protectors. If you truly believe them your guardians, why do you not repeat the trick that served you so well at Cartano and call them down? They will answer, so long as you lavish them with crystals and gorge them on ether. Your gods are no different from those of the beasts. Icons, everyone. Except but this, and you will see how Eorzea's faith is bleeding the land dry.
The land dry.
Nor is this unknown to your masters, which prompts the question, why do they cling to these false deities? What drives even men of learning, even the great Louis Soir, to grovel at their feet? The answer? Your masters lack the strength to do otherwise. For the world of man to mean anything, man must own the world.
You know what? Something just occurred to me. Gaia's complaining that the Eorzean summoned Phoenix that one time, basically summoned Phoenix that one time. He's basically being like a child tantrum angry that the opponent has a better unit to summon than he has. He basically went, no, it's unfair, you're using the overpowered character. And then that's followed up with, your masters lack the strength to do otherwise. I dare you to pick the overpowered character. Yeah, that's right. If you pick the overpowered character, that's because you need the overpowered character to beat me. Yeah, I said it. Go ahead, pick Meta Knight in Smash Bros. Brawl. Go ahead. No, I don't care. Your win will mean nothing because you use the overpowered character.
It is only
I'll just main the character that counters the overpowered character. That character that I'm using, by the way, is ultimate weapon. So the game plan is, we know there's a DPS check, but Gaius himself is not a DPS check. He does not have an enrage. So we're mostly interested in just like sandbagging it and slowly whittling him down until the DPS check comes, and then we just throw everything we have. Alright. Just needed to see. Maybe it would have worked. Would have been pretty funny if it did. Just smack him with missile. How much damage does that do? Oh, that's not bad. That is manageable. I don't know if I'll make this. I made it! The scary thing with Diamondback is that we can't exit it. So if he starts doing something else, then I'm kind of just here. I'm pretty sure I can live this. Doctus. I summon Dox. I summon a duck version of Noctis. I call it Doctus. There we go. 31. 31. I think my Mortal Flame has just been whittling away at him during the intermission. Well, that was very manageable. Nice. Yeah, I feel like the 2000 damage was the highest hit it did on me. I think Diamondback was actually not needed for this entire dungeon. Yeah, nice. Thank you for letting me know, Matthew. If I had gone in with a normal job, we'd have just, like, wasted time, pretty much. Thank you, Ibia. Hey, Riku. I hope you're doing well. I am. Right. So, the next thing we're doing is Snowcloak with a normal job. Now, I'm pretty sure that Scholar Ruin Spam is still the best choice. So I think I'm going to go with that. It is too powerful. Scholar isn't normal. It is normal. Is Scholar too good? Is the blue healer? Well, I mean, it's just as normal as Warrior past level 56. Scholar is a tank in a healer body. It's actually... This reminds me of... So... When it came out, I actually played Wildstar, like when it was new. I didn't get to max level. It started to get a little grindy to level, and I discovered that max level is even grindier. Like, you had to, like, raid for weeks just to reach, like, the starting point, because you had, like, invest, like, the equivalent to these tombstones in getting additional skills, like, before you were done. And that meant you couldn't actually, like, you know, buy gear catch-up equipment before you had that. So it was so grindy that I just went, nah, not having it. It didn't help either that I had a bunch of friends that were like, let's start on Wildstar together. And I was the only person that actually started. Like, everyone else in that group got to, like, level 10. And then they just changed their mind, and then it was just kind of left in the water alone. It was a little bit of a shame. But the reason why that's interesting is because they made it so every class could play two roles. Like, either you could play, everyone could play DPS, but then every class could play tank or healer, which led to hilarious things like a gunner style job with like dual pistols, being a healer, and an engineer with like a huge cannon being a tank, a ranged tank, which turned out to be the strongest tank because, I mean, if you can do just as much damage as the other tanks while at range, then it's easier for you to position the boss because you don't have to stand anywhere in particular. And if the boss doesn't need to stand anywhere in particular, you can kite the boss, which means you take less damage than a tank that can't kite the boss. Weirdly overpowered. Imagine if you had a tank that could like do everything they needed to do at range. I mean everything, because Paladin can't do everything. That is the closest we have. Yeah, I'm willing to say that the Scholar is pretty overpowered at this level, but it is technically a normal job, which is why I'm sticking to it. And no one can compete with the power of a fairy friend. It is pretty strong. Ymir says, I can't wait for 7.0 where Summoner will be a tank with 10 different dots. Imagine if a job actually had like 10 things to manage. 10. Because that's the thing. That is what dots basically mean, is that you have to like check in on that every now and then. If you have a 1, 2, 3 combo that applies a dot, then it means that you have to watch that so that you're 3 like GZDs ahead. If you have 5 different dots, then you have to, you know, apply them in succession so that they don't, you know, run out. Have 12 30-second dots, so that's it. That it's all dots. Oops, all dots. I remember actually that there was a period with Blue Mage where Aqua Breath was seriously considered as like a usable attack. Because dots scale with spell speed. Like, on top of everything else, they also get a damage boost from spell speed, which, you know, attacks don't normally do. And Aqua Breath technically does the same damage as most other filler attacks, it's just that a significant portion of it is a dot. So if you have a lot of spell speed, which is a genuine Blue Mage build, then maybe Aqua Breath is better than something like Flamethrower. Now, that kind of like faded when people realized that it was just better to bring Sonic Boom so you could double weave. It was pretty funny, people actually considered Aqua Breath, which when you get it, it's like, I don't know why I would choose this. Nihwell says, is it really solo if you bring your fairy? Maybe not, that's why I brought a Carbuncle. I, 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 We could also try something else. I feel like... So I could go with Sage, it's just that the specific thing that Scholar does better means that I'm basically choosing worse Scholar if I'm just going with Sage. And then I might as well go with a tank, but there's a specific reason I'm going with Scholar over a tank, and that's because as long as something doesn't one-shot me, Scholar is better equipped to deal with anything, and it's technically a normal job. Like, the reason why it's not particularly interesting to solo something with Blue Mage that a normal job can do is specifically because Blue Mage tends to just, like, completely embarrass the dungeon how easily it is beaten, whereas a normal job, even Scholar, just takes a while. So that's why I want to do it with Scholar, and I think that's okay. I don't think we're going to do it minimum item level, simply because, as we discovered with Wanderer's Palace, the minimum item level on these dungeons is such a huge jump from the maximum allowed item level that it becomes, like, impossible to kill the enemies in time. Yeah, exactly, the taunt berries. That was also something that weirded me out in Small Kai, was that apparently Small Kai has a hunt for a Grand Company that means I need to kill taunt berries, and I was like, but wait, I killed taunt... Oh, on the other character. Like, I really thought that I had already done that. Let me see if I can fish for a big shield. 2 more attempts. There we go. I should dot these. Oh, the big boy hits extremely hard. That does actually look quite funny now that you mention it, Emir. Just boop, it, and then it's funny how there isn't really an elaborate animation for, like, zoning in and out of dungeons. It's just gone. Oh, nice. They will spam Blizzard a lot. So, oh, they also auto-attack. That changes some things. They're doing the book smacks, just like me. Oh yeah, that's true, Lemon. Wait, was that... Did we get Snowcloak yesterday? The Adlocurium fishing here helps so much because it lets me, like, really go ham for the first few seconds. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Now I remember, like, the first big AoE pull. I think it's because of the Gobio that I just mentioned. It hits weirdly hard. That would explain that. That's 3. I just remembered that I don't even have repose on. Oh yeah, that's true. We had the talk about the first boss and not standing still. That's right. I think they have a weapon skill. Gilano, I think we actually did both. Like, I think we actually did Snowcloak both times. Like, now that we're on the subject, I'm pretty sure we did Snowcloak both times. Snowcloak! Again! These wolves are actually... That's the thing, is that I always notice that the gigapole at the start of this dungeon is weirdly scary, but like a little bit like Aurum Vale, but that explains a lot. These wolves have an OGCD. Like, they basically every few seconds they hit twice. That changes some things. And that's why I have to kite them. The first pull with the Ibex and the Gobu just hits hard. But the wolves actually, like, they have an OGCD, and the Spriggans, they cast and do book smacks. They've also watched one of my shorts, it sounds like, Lemon. The wolves have watched the Weaving one, and the Spriggans have watched the Mage auto attack one. How hard do you hit? How hard do you hit? That's pretty hard. Emir got the horse! Look at my horse! It's amazing! Congratulations! And a book smack. And a book smack. Take this! And that's the reason why I'm staying in melee range, by the way. Even though I could kite it, is because it's not doing enough damage for it to be a problem. And it gives me Art of War instead of Ruin 2, and it gives me auto attacks. Hey Moko Stabby! How's the stream going? How goes the stream? Well, we managed to solo the final boss of Castrum, which means that we managed to prove it totally that it is possible to solo Castrum Meridianum with a normal job. Probably with some luck. Then we soloed Praetorium with Blue Mage, which was surprisingly easy actually. And then you came while we're in the middle of Snowcloak. So I think that is pretty good. How are you doing, Moko? Didn't know you could solo queue. Well, you can. You just have to like set both unrestricted party and level sync. Then you can solo queue for anything that isn't Endwalker content, pretty much. And ultimates, I think. Yeah, the interesting thing is that, so Praetorium is like, I would say it's at a point where there's no chance that a normal job could solo it. That's why Castrum is more interesting from like a soloing perspective, is that there's actually a possibility that you could solo it, which turned out to be true. It's just that the Black Eft, the first boss in the dungeon, is incredibly hard. Like, insanely hard because of all the ads at spawn. And many of the ads actually individually have soft enrages, which cause problems. Like, as a combination, the black eft means that you pretty much have to be lucky to reach, like, to do the rest of the dungeon on time, because you have to get it first try, and that requires some crit luck, in my opinion. And you need all the time to be able to beat the rest of the dungeon in time. Doing well, you're working on an alt so you can raid on another static. Oh boy. That sounds like a lot. Ow! It used a point blank tank buster that can crit, and it did 3,000. So I basically have to be over 50% HP at all times, in case the boss does that. There it is again. Oh, and it summons ads. Wonderful. Oof. Ow. That is a problem. The problem is that I need to stop to heal myself, but the boss doesn't really give me space to stop and heal myself. And I need to be at basically full HP whenever it uses its tank buster move, and it happens suddenly, so I just have to always be healthy in case it swings. That's rough. Yeah, I do remember Titan Eggy being able to tank for you. I actually found in Shadowbringers it was really, really awkward. Because of how it wasn't really tanking for you anymore. It just had the capacity to give you a shield, so often it felt like Summoner was too squishy to not have a pet, but didn't have a pet. Like, you just didn't. But it felt like you should. How about I do this instead? Kite a bit more aggressively. Wait, it did 0? And that's also true, they still mention that your Titan Eggy can tank for you, but it can't. Uh-oh. That was almost a big problem. That is, this is going to be hard. I don't know if I can do it. It's like fighting locksmith in an arena that is a third of the size, with ads spawning that you also have to deal with. And the ads also have a strict are all a strict DPS check individually. The thing is, I don't even know if a tank would have an easier time doing this. Simply because I don't know if you would be able to keep up with the tank busters. Let me target it. Uh-oh. I missed an attack, so I almost didn't kill it in time. That's how strict the DPS check is on those ads. Emian says, did you change your house? Yes, I did. I changed it to the carbuncle theme. It's more pink. Uh-oh. Did I say a third of Locksmith's Arena? I meant a fourth of Locksmith's Arena. Did the ads stop spawning? What's happening there? No, they didn't. Just when I use sprint. That's when you do it, of course. Uh-oh. It's very, very tight on both the DPS requirement and the damage the boss does. Free book smacks while you're snowdrifting. Uh-oh. That's bad. I think it doesn't do anything. I'm pretty sure it's just if I get 4 stacks, it's a problem. But it seemed like that one activated earlier. Or was I slow to start attacking it? Woof! We did it! We did the thing! That was a... that reminds me of both Locksmith and I think it was... oh, the second dungeon in the game. Thank you, Gelano. The one... Is it 1000 Laws of Totorak? Is that the one? No. The third dungeon. The one with the one that you need to do to get Palace of the Dead. Name escapes me right now. I remember that yeah, Tantara, there it is. The demon bosses throughout the dungeon, their auto attacks, like when it got its like its magic buff up and running, it did like 80% of my HP or something like that. So I pretty much had to use it, like use a heal every single time I got hit. That was the first time I had to kite something, really. It reminds me of that. Like kiting something in a tiny room. The ice sprites are going to be brutal. They're ranged, so I can't really kite them that much. I can kite them a little bit. If I can get them over here, I might be able to line of sight them a little bit, but their spell is really fast, if I remember correctly. But it still might work. I remember when we line of sight cheesed the Imp in Hawk Manor, even though its spell has nearly no cast time. Use a dot on every one of them, and then kill that one first, I suppose. That is a lot of damage. Walk this way, please. Oh man, that's so much damage. That's insane. Ow, 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 ow. Excuse me, excuse me. Oh, they can see past that. Fair enough. Is that how we're playing this game? You got it. Go down this way then. This is what we call Kai's monthly cardio. Just running around, casting ruin. There's 2 of those packs, aren't there? I'm pretty sure there's 2 of them. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And there's also the... Oh right, there's the bird and the sprites. The bird and the sprites. I don't know what's scarier. But I'm pretty sure the sprites are the scarier ones among them. Especially when the bird is just casting telegraphs. Among Us. Bum 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 bum. How many... Oh, I have plenty of potions. I bought a whole bunch because I thought I was going to need a huge amount for Castrum, and then kinda didn't. Hey, bird! Bird! Ow. Bird. What? Oh, it has an OGCD attack. Just like the wolves. Good to know. There's 3 of them up there. And then there's... single dude. How tough are you? Oh, you're like a gobu. Excellent. I'll just go over here then. Double smash! Rap. Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you? I solo bosses simply by running in circles and throwing weak spells at them. Right this way, sir. That's just 2. Ah. Please come over to my pet. I should have shielded up before I pulled them. Oh boy. Please die. Quickly. Survived getting hit with bad breath and Aurum Veil. So I was playing Scholar solo. Oh, right this way, sir. That was pretty funny. I just want to say I didn't actually plan that. Like, it might be like, oh yeah, and then you just, like, maybe I had, like, I could have planned that. Like, just, oh, I'm going to get hit. No, I didn't. It just randomly messed up after a long fight. Let me fish for a big shield, since I know these birds can hit incredibly hard, and I need to run a bit to find a spot to kite them in. Big shield, please. Thank you. Oh, you just have to ask nicely. Nice. Easy. Yeah, it was a very long dungeon. That locksmith fight? Woof. There was no reason for me to put up those shields. Well, isn't this music soothing? It's very nice. One v one me. Now that you're alone, I will fight you fair and square without kiting you. I feel like... Aren't there like more mobs that normally spawn up there? Like an extra Gobu or something like that? I feel like normally there is something more. Oh, is it just boss time? Oh, there it is. Crap. Did anybody say Gobu? Or Gubu? I think it's a good dungeon. Sorry, I'm late. Oh, it has a tank buster. I think it's a great dungeon, Delano. Specifically, the fact that the mobs are threatening is a good thing, in my book. It's also, incidentally, like if I, for example, needed a dungeon to showcase like an invuln, pulling everything near the start of the dungeon is a very, very consistent way to need that. Oh man, I'm sorry I'm late. Kitsuneko said, why did I hear sorry I'm Blade? Maybe we've had too much Blade. Can you have too much Blade? Can one have too much Blade? Never be sorry for being Blade. Whee! Blap. This boss hits for less damage than the big guy from before. Like the big dude. Like singular mob dude. He's a tanky boy though, I'll give him that. And he has not shown his hand. He might have a tank buster up his sleeve that I haven't met yet. So I kind of have to sit on Swiftcast just in case. My goodness, he's chonky! Chonky! Kitsuneko says, I wonder if you can do solo ninja synced? No, you can't. You need the healing. I think there are a few dungeons where, like low level, where you might. For example, I've been told that Black Mage can solo Sastasha, no problem. Because you can just kite and use Scathe. Which means that, like, the advantage is that you have an instant spell you can just spam. Maybe Summoner could. But anything Summoner would be able to do at that level range, Scholar would pretty much be able to do better, I think. Because you would, like, the fact that you have a pet just forever healing you is just too good. Like, technically, in any dungeon, Summoner would have Topaz Carbuncle. So you would have instant casts, and in that level range, Scholar would not have Ruin 2. So that would be a disadvantage on Scholar. But I'm pretty sure that the pet is just too strong. Lemon says the one place where Scathe is good. I've heard that to solo Palace of the Dead, floor 200, with Black Mage, you need to use Scathe. Like, a ridiculous amount of Scathe. Simply because you can't stand and take the hits. It's not an option. Gilano says, where did all the Spriggans go? Indeed. I really liked the old version of this fight because it was very involved, it was complicated. You would not, like, it was possible to do the fight, just failing the mechanic every time, I think, but it was not like a pushover, and you couldn't just, like, it was a bad idea. Like, if you ignored the mechanic, then suddenly you needed to have an excellent healer to do it. You know, the weakness of this boss is that it spent so much time just doing boss mechanics. It's funny that that tends to be the weakness of bosses. Like, if they go over and do a mechanic that does raid-wide damage, then it's just free for me. Like, it's just free real estate. I just get to, like, party because it does so little damage that it doesn't even matter while it's doing the boss mechanic. As long as I don't mess up the boss mechanic, I win. That was also the thing on the first boss. Every time it went to do Snowdrift, yes, it was a little scary because I couldn't stop to shield myself safely, but the fact that it wasn't, like, pelting me with auto attacks or tank busters gave me breathing room to, like, recover cooldowns or heal a bit naturally and stuff like that. This boss spent so long doing boss mechanics that my pet can do the healing. And it's good. It's fine. But it's so tanky that even though I have all these energy drains going to damage, it hardly matters. Crap. Man, this boss is chunky. It's not Livia, but it's a chunky boy. Extra damage. I'm pushing damage. There's only a third of the fight left. Whee! There's also, like, when the fights call for an obscene amount of casts, to deal with. It always makes me think of when we were soloing Cutter's Cry, and I actually ran out of MP because I didn't have Ether Flow yet. He's not out of it. He's not out of HP. Not yet. That's a good one. That's what he tells himself. That's why he's taking so little damage. He just keeps saying, "I'm not done yet." But yeah, in Cutter's Cry, it turned out that not having Ether Flow actually meant that I didn't have enough MP to like attack for the entire fight. I had to stop. I even had to like use Ruin 1 simply because it costs less. Like to be able to keep up the attack. So I remember after, like shortly after, like when we got to the first bit of the stuff leading up to this boss with the wind, we were at like 59 minutes, I think. Or were we at 59 minutes when I started this boss? It feels like it was 59 minutes when we started this boss. Probably closer, because that's 8 minutes ago that we started this boss, according to my chat log. Northernlies. Northernlies is a Blue Mage spell, by the way. It's not a good one, but it's a Blue Mage spell. It's by the time you can collect Northernlies, you pretty much have no reason to get Northernlies, is the problem. If I remember correctly, Northernlies is like if the enemy is affected by Dropsy, which was from Aqua Breath, then Northernlies will freeze the enemies for 20 seconds, which is better than Ram's Voice. The problem is that why do that when you can just use Ram's Voice and then Ultra Vibration, then the enemies are completely dead. Like, it's why add the extra step for 8 extra seconds that you usually won't need. Delano says it was 58. Oh, well, then it took us just about 10 minutes to kill that guy. We still have around half of the dungeon timer to deal with the rest of the dungeon. Why are these glacier sprites that tanky? They look like they should have like nearly no HP. Are they just standing there? They don't even attack, they just wait until they're near death and then they go boom. We have a big boy. There we go. And the reason why we're spinning the mobs like this is it actually just softly delays their auto attack by a little bit, which is better than not doing it. It's like a very, very small damage reduction to do this. Now, the tanks watching don't do this in dungeons with groups. The DPS players are going to hate you. At least don't do it without a reason. Like sometimes running around a group like you're hurting them can clump them closer together, which is good sometimes, depending on what your group composition is. But your melee DPS are probably going to be quite cross with you, especially if you're doing it with a boss. Why is this a pull with 4 mobs? Just suddenly, like that? Well, good thing I have an entire dungeon to run in. Oh, this is a good kiting room. Dun, 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 dun. This is perfect. You know, the first boss in this dungeon would have been way easier if I had this room. Split the damage so that I get the maximum dot value. This was something that I didn't do in Castrum at first because I was scared that the ranged mobs in the packs would overwhelm me. Eventually I realized that they didn't, but by the time that I had figured that thing out, like, I think I had already dealt with, like, at least 2 packs, like, intentionally focusing them down one at a time. So that's what I mean when I said that technically we had 24 minutes to spare-ish in Castrum, maybe 20 or so, if we count the cutscene. But in reality, if I actually, like, type... Whoa, what's happening here? Ow, ow, ow. I need to deal with the Spriggans one at a time because they're ranged. They're too powerful. Okay, guess that plan's off the table. I just got interrupted by the alligator walking up to him, just biting me. Like, no casted Adlocuriums for you. I could have sure casted that, but mob dance party. It's just so ridiculous. Like, I'm guessing they're like programmed to just run into you, and because I wasn't even in the room, they sort of just bugged out. You're like, where are they? They're supposed to be here. And then I just wasn't. How strong are you, hybrid gator? Can you threaten me? 900. Oh, you have a tank buster. Well, alright then. Am I going to return to like another mob dance party? No, that's true. There is no gator mount, right? That is a good point. There he is. Where is he? Can't find him. What do I do? How hard do you hit? Very hard. Okay. Extremely hard. Duly noted. Yeah, that's true. The Gator mount in the Island Sanctuary is a more, like, realistic Gator mount, I would say. Many damage. Much respect. Wow. You shouldn't be casting 10-ton swipe. That is a mistake, man. You should optimize your rotation better, Snowclops. You should know better, after being in the game for like 10 years. Be better. Some of the bosses here even got reworks, and you didn't even consider like fixing up your arsenal without by not telling me that you're going to use 10-ton swipe. Mistake. You haven't uploaded that video on its opener and rotation. Ah, that is a good point. I am being a little mean. Like, how would it possibly know what to do? It's a single guy. Let's just go for it. It's a Cyclops Sprout. Ah. Oh, you have a Tank Buster. Wonderful. And you have that. I knew that, but I didn't know about the Tank Buster. We're pretty much fine against one of these as long as they don't, like, get to, like, as long as I'm above 2,000. How much can we actually rush him down? I don't think I can. No, there's no point. I would have to, like, sleep juggle him multiple times. I'd rather just fight it like this, so I don't risk having to reset. They all pull together. Walk with me. Da 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 da. How far behind is the third one? Oh, there it is. Wheels around him. Let's go. Oh. Yeah, there's no point in trying to like take them fair and square. If they actually time their tank busters together, I just immediately die. There's nothing I would be able to do about that. That was a lot of damage all of a sudden. Oh, right. Pick up the thing. So this boss has like a mechanic that if you mess it up, you immediately, like, if you're solo, you're dead. Because you're going to get frozen for so long that the boss will kill you. Like, even if you're in a group, sometimes mechanics will just play out in such a way that you die. So, we need to play perfectly, and then I hope it's not too chonky. I can't remember if it has a tank buster, but if it does, then, well, I hope it has its hell instead of just using it point blank like the first boss. But it got reworked, so it probably does. Like, it probably has its hell on its tank buster, I mean. We just need a big shield to start. There we go. Oh, my carbuncle is almost invisible on the floor. I should have put down like a marker so I could see where I put it. I can't target it. Well. Oh, 4,000. Okay. Yikes. That's going to be tough. At least there's a huge wind up to that. $4,000 tank buster. We pretty much have to use Adlocurium on that every time and make sure we're topped. There's also actually the genuine possibility that it could crit, I think. Which would, I'm pretty sure, just kill me outright. That's why I need to be topped up and have Adlocurium, just in case. Scary. We're a fourth of the way there. I'm having a bit of a hard time figuring out exactly where the center of the room is. That's why I keep moving the carbuncle, because I'm like, where's the center? It's summoning candy crystals. It's really mean. Just need to hold on so that I can get a little bit ahead. Wait, it didn't do that before. If it's going to do that more now, that is a big win for us. Because it's wasted damage for it. Like, I'm not going to get hit by that ever. If it just starts doing that from now on, that means that it's just wasting damage uptime. It almost got me. Yep, it seems like that's just part of the menu now. That it's just wasting like a good 5, 6, 7 seconds doing that. Excellent. Perfect. I want you to do that. Yes, summon the crystals of wasted time. Ymir says, I just had 2 people rage quit in Aurum Vale. What? After a wipe? Or did they just go, nope, Aurum Vale, I'm out? Mogustabby says, aren't these low-level dungeons redesigned in a way to teach Sprouts mechanics that show up later in the game, like raiding and stuff? No, not really. Not really, no. It's more that they've been freshed up, so they include some of the markers that have been like designed later in the game. But they've actually been redesigned such that they're more manageable for duty support, you know, for NPCs to do with you, as far as I know, at least. Like, that is the main reason why they had to be reworked, is because some of the bosses were too complicated for NPCs to do with you. Like, for example, the second boss had this mechanic with the Spriggans that you had to, like, move in front of the boss, and then they turn into snowballs, and then you would kick the snowballs into the boss to interrupt it when it was casting Northern Eyes instead of just taking it to the face, like you do now. But, like, the tank is supposed to be doing part of that, like aiming the Yeti at the Spriggans and stuff like that. You can probably imagine that if the player is not the tank, then that's just not going to happen. Like, that is not happening with an NPC doing it. So I think that is the reason that they changed that boss. I think this boss they just like freshed it up a little bit. Like the first boss, I'm pretty sure is completely unchanged because its mechanics weren't a problem. But I don't actually know if the NPCs dodge the snowdrift. Like, I don't know if they do it correctly. But, you know, Moko, maybe a side effect of them being freshed up in this way is that they prepare sprouts for those kinds of things. Like, for instance, these bosses have, like this boss has a proper tank buster marker. Which, that means that the sprouts will be more likely to recognize that at higher level. But on the other hand, it's also going to be a little weird that they see the tank buster marker, and then any boss that has a tank buster but the boss hasn't been reworked, it doesn't have the marker, right? It just doesn't have the marker for reasons. As far as the sprout is concerned, it's just weird that it doesn't have it. It just occurred to me that I could make those tank busters a little safer by putting down sacred soil like that. Instead of just hoping that it'll be fine. Like, I have the ether flow to spare, so just taking 10% off the top. Big orange. Oh, wait, someone in Doma Castle didn't know what a stack marker is? That is weird. By that point, you should know what a stack marker is. Like, it's possible that you miss it, but you've had a lot of opportunities to learn what it is. Almost there. Oh, that's real nice. A crit at Locurium to finish off with? Nice. Yeah, exactly, Moko. This boss was also changed. Slightly. I believe the crystals usually, like, they used to come down, like, way earlier. So, like, they just kind of came down. And then you just, like, the warning sign that the boss was going to do this was a lot shorter. So you kind of just had to hang out near crystal. So very different in that regard. There you go. 69 minutes. Well, 68. Rounded up. 68.48. 69 minutes. Nice. Right, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Kids and Echoes here. Yeah, that was nice. I wasn't sure if we could do it. Especially with the first boss, but it's funny how that happens. Who was it that said that? I feel like someone brought something up about that when I was complaining about that boss. Oh yeah, Lemon said it's Aurum Vale all over again, because the second boss was kinda trivial. And then, like, the first boss was brutal, the second boss was trivial, and the third boss was hard, but it's not the first boss. It's funny how that works. An interesting thing with that is that I think it's actually a result of how mechanics are dealt with. And what I mean by that is, in Aurum Vale, the first boss has an auto attack, a no warning tank buster, and a raid-wide attack. It also has, like, I believe, a targeted circle AoE. But I think that's everything. The second boss has a circle AoE that basically one-shots you, a cone AoE that hits really hard, a line AoE, and a donut cone AoE, like really strange. But originally, the difficulty of Coin Counter, which is the second boss in Aurum Vale, was that all of its attacks had no telegraphs. It had a tell that it was going to do something, and a name for the attack, but it didn't actually show you where the save spot was, which meant that I think a lot of people thought that the donut cone AoE that it turned out to be, I'm pretty sure most people thought it was just a cone AoE, because how would you know? Aside from like not getting hit, I think most people would go, "Oh, that's weird," rather than know why. And because the boss has that many of those kinds of mechanics, it just like it didn't have a tank boss as far as I remember, because it was too busy doing boss mechanics. And the third boss had a no tell tank buster, but you could dodge it. For some reason, you could dodge it. Then it had, it had bad breath, which you could dodge. It summoned ads, but you could prevent that. And then it had its raid wide with the Burburrows thing, where it could target someone. But for the most part, the fact that the first boss didn't have very many mechanics meant it had more time to just wail on you and use its tank buster. Whereas the final boss, every time it stopped to do something, you could just kind of run away. And every time the boss used a tank buster, like if you're already busy running away, it's going to miss. Hey Snow Dragon, I hope you're doing well. And it's kind of similar in Snowcloak as we just did. Is that the first boss, it had a no warning tank buster. It had a raid wide attack with some sort of gimmick. It had a circle AoE it could use. It summoned an ad with a strict DPS check every time. Strict, but the reason why it was strict was because it took like 5 or 6 GCDs to kill it, and it gave you 6 GCDs, or like 5.5 GCDs to kill it. So it was really like you had to be on point. If you missed, it was probably going to land its attack on you. And then the boss also had that thing where it like made the arena smaller. But for the most part, most of the damage the boss did was when it was just like chasing me around and using the tank busters. So the instant it cast anything, it was losing damage. Like, if the boss didn't have any ads, didn't have the snowdrift mechanic, didn't have the circle AoE, it just had auto attack and tank buster, it would actually be a harder fight to solo. Which is pretty funny. Like, the amount of mechanics a boss has makes it more difficult. Like, the second boss hit very hard with its auto attacks as well, but because it never, like, stuck around long enough to do a significant amount of damage, I could just kind of deal with it, like, just survive through it, and it was fine. And the only threatening thing that the final boss had was its tank buster, because it had the genuine possibility that it could one-shot me. Possibly. Now, I say possibly because there's a very good reason for that. And that is, I can't remember if it's including Stormblood, but at least around Reborn and Heavensward, bosses could crit, which I believe we saw on the first boss. And that also includes their tank busters. Now, I don't know, I didn't notice, did the final boss in the dungeon we just did it crit at any point? Like, as much as once? Because if the answer's yes, then it can crit in general. If the answer is no, then it's likely that it can't crit, simply because if it with the amount of time that fight took, it's pretty much guaranteed that it would at least get one crit somewhere in the fight. So if it could, it would. If it can't, it of course wouldn't. But if it could crit, then its Tank Buster would have the capacity to do about 40% more damage, and 40% more damage would be something in the ballpark of 6.3 thousand damage in total, and I had 6.2 thousand HP, so if I didn't have a shield, like a barrier up, I would just die. Which was why every single time it queued up its Tank Buster, I put up a shield, and near the end I started putting down Sacred Soil, because with Sacred Soil, even if it would be a crit, I would have, like, I think enough HP to take the follow-up auto attack swing? Like, just barely? Even without the barrier? But that was like the reason. Yeah, it's kind of funny that bosses with less mechanics just become harder because they spent more time auto-attacking with their much more impressive auto-attack than a raid-wide attack. Right. So, I think we're at a point where if I start on another fight, like another dungeon, it's going to go way, way too long. So I think we will have to continue the challenge next time. However, I'm not sure what we should do next time. We could vote on that now, so that I know where to start. You could also vote next time, but that would put me in a weird position about what I do at the beginning. Yeah. I think we can vote on it. We also didn't do any trials, but I'm pretty confident that pretty much all of the 8-man content is not possible with a regular job. Synced. Mogostavi says, do you have a Reaper guide out? Yes, I do. That is the starter guide, and it should have the high-level guide as like the recommended video at the end. Or very good chance YouTube is just going to suggest it to you, I think. I've since making those guides, the high-level guide in particular, discovered that there's a lot more. Like that, the thing is that Reaper has 2 common openers, and I cover the less commonly used one for optimization because it's more flexible if you don't have like the best gear, because it's more flexible with skill speed. But that's just something to keep in mind, that if you're if you find out that you want to main Reaper and you want to like perfect it, then you may want to like use more than only my guide, right? But I always say that if you're trying to like get really good, it's a good idea to like use multiple guides so that you get a broader perspective, just in case I forgot something or they forgot something, right? However, for like 99% of content, including Savage, but not including like parsing specifically, everything that I teach in the high-level Reaper guide will be just enough. Like, that'll be perfectly fine. You don't need more than that. Just to be clear. It's only if you're like trying to do like the perfect pull in a Savage boss fight that you perfect it. Then you might want to look up exactly the opener and the rotation for that fight to optimize, right? But you would have to do that with any job. Anyway, what was I talking about? Right, what we do next time. What else could we do? So I don't, as I was about to say, I don't see any point trying synced any of the of these with a normal job. The thing is that back when I made my video about it being impossible to solo Final Fantasy XIV, the first thing I checked was, can you beat Thorn March? Because I'm pretty sure that's the first one that comes up. I'm pretty sure that's the first one that comes up. And the answer is not really. You can't do it synced. However, you can do it unsynced in like appropriate gear. So like if you were to be a player that solos the entire game, you could probably grind full Ironworks Magitech gear by that point. And then just level like warrior until you're high enough level to just beat over the boss with levels. But if we're trying to do it synced, we can't do that. Hey, Kraken Mo says Thornmarch is the first 8 person in the MSQ I just got there. Oh, I see. Well, it's a fun fight. It's not too difficult, so if you're a little bit intimidated by it, don't worry. It used to be a lot more confusing because there was like a whole kill order and stuff like that. That still exists in the extreme version, but that one is not required. There's optional content. So don't worry, Kraken Mo. Yeah, Moogle order. There was one. If you didn't do it right, or rather, if everyone focused the king first back then you would wipe, because then he would get angry that you focused him first. Moogle mugging order? Yeah, kind of. Cal says, isn't the order also the order they're introduced in the song too? I have never paid close enough attention to the song to realize that they're introduced in the song. Do you have a comment on that one, Lemon? You said you memorized the order. Now's your chance. What's the order? Do you remember the order? Yeah, there are lyrics. Absolutely, there are lyrics. I just never paid close enough attention to them. It's absolutely the case that there's lyrics. I just don't remember what the lyrics are. Aside from Good King Muggle Mug, Good King Mug. You're welcome to do that, Lemon. So just to, again, preface with the poll before I post it. So I'm going to put a poll on what we do next time we do this solo challenge. The options are Keeper of the Lake with a normal job. We'll try. I'm pretty sure it can be done, but we'll try. The second option is skip to Heavensward dungeons, so that would mean that we would start with Dusk Vigil, or at least we would try to do Dusk Vigil. I happen to know that the first boss might be... I have a feeling that that one might actually not be doable. Yeah, that would be what we would start with. The third option is more A Realm Reborn post-game dungeons. And then the fourth option is also A Realm Reborn post-game dungeons, you know, so like Wanderer's Palace, things like that. But with Blue Mage. Like, if you'd want to see more Blue Mage stuff, then you can vote for that one specifically. Right. So you choose the one that you would like to see the most, and then I will write it down, and then I'll remember that next time I plan one of these solo streams. And you just choose whichever one you like the most. Lemon says, I can confirm the answer is no. What's the order in the song, and what's the order that players decided to go with? It would be pretty interesting if it turns out that one of the strategies would be like that maybe killing them in the order they're introduced in the song actually was a viable order. Lemon says first one is Puklapuki, which is the Black Mage, but in the song the first one is Kupta Kappa. Which one is Kupta Kappa then? Like, what job is that one? Because that is actually also an interesting thing. It's a lot less clear nowadays. Because the ads, like the Mughals, kind of just show up momentarily. Nowadays, back in the day, they would like show up and do specific stuff a lot more than they do now. Which means that you would actually see that they're basically all of the jobs. Most of them are jobs from A Realm Reborn. Like, there's a paladin, there's a warrior, there's a healer, which is basically a white mage. There is a ninja among them, or like a rogue. Which is interesting, because rogue wasn't a job at that point, I believe. I'm pretty sure ninja came in later. And there's a bard and there's a black mage. Are there anyone else? I'm just listing them off the top of my head, so I might easily forget one. And the thing is that back then, if you like hurt the king down to a certain health threshold, he would cast Memento Moogle or something like that. And that did damage based on how many other Moogles were alive. Which meant that if you just like bomb rushed the boss, he would cast Memento Moogle and immediately wipe the group. Which meant that it really put the players in their place, those that thought they could just ignore mechanics and kill the boss. But also simultaneously made it very difficult if there were players that didn't listen, because you had to specifically not do something. And that is almost worse than having to do something specific. Because if you have to do something specific, you just have to have a person do that. If you have to have people not do something specific, then you need everyone to not do that thing. Let's see. Right, so what I'm seeing in the poll is that there's like mainly people that want to see Keep of the Lake as a normal job, and then there's both people that want to see Heavensward Dungeons and a Realm Reborn post-game with Blue Mage. So I'm thinking that what we will do next time is Keep of the Lake as a normal job, and then do a Realm Reborn post-game with Blue Mage before we like go on to Heavensward Dungeons, because then we like can do it in chronological order in a way. I think that is a good way to go about it. But just thinking about it a little bit, like Somal, I think that one might be doable. It depends on how overwhelming the slimes are on the second boss, I think. The third boss, I'm pretty sure can be done just fine. Aerie, I don't think it can be done because Nidhogg will just crowd control you, and you can't get out. Maybe Blue Mage can rush it, but I doubt it. The Vault? The third boss will probably not use chains when there is only one target, so that's probably fine. Great Gobal Library will be interesting because I'm pretty sure the 1, 2, 3 plates is still a thing on normal. I'm pretty sure I remember that it is. And with only one person, that's simply not going to happen. So that will be like, we have to actually deal with the ads. And then there's a whole bunch of level 60 stuff where we can like maybe pick a few that might be soloable. Like just as an example, Belzer's Wall cannot be soloed because Mr. Sloppy himself will chain you instead of the healer if there's only you. And that it requires a second player intervening, so that is just not an option. But some of these might be doable. Well, Mr. Sloppy, I'm pretty sure people recognize Mr. Sloppy better than... is his name here? The Griffin. Sloppy-san. But yeah, there's certainly a bunch of dungeons here where I look it over and go, we can't do that. The reason why Dusk Vigil is very iffy is because the first boss, the Mammoth, it will choose someone, stun them for 5 seconds, then stun them for 10 seconds. As far as I know. The thing is that if you're in a normal group, it will often do it back to back, probably because like you heard it so much that it reaches the next time it's supposed to do it. Because the thing is, it will do it like twice and then never again. Like it'll just stop doing it after that. 2 or 3 times, so I'm pretty sure it's like a health threshold thing. But the thing is, no tank can survive. I don't think any of the tanks can survive that long with no intervention whatsoever. And Scholar can't survive that long, even if the pet is healing. Like, there's no job that can survive 15 seconds completely on their own while a boss is just wailing on them. Especially because the stun happens to be accompanied by heavy damage. So it might not be possible. Is what I'm thinking. We will try when we get to it. We will give it a good old try, but I'm pretty confident that the Mammoth will simply make it impossible to beat. Is what I'm thinking. And similarly, the Aerie has a mechanic that stuns you, and if you're not rescued by other players killing the thing that stuns you, you die. Like, you just die. Like, the boss doesn't even have to do anything. They can actually just, like, do it and just look at you and go, omae wa mo shindeiru, and then you just kind of die. Nidhogg doesn't have to do a thing, he just goes, and you're dead. Mammoth is the epitome of no my uptime. You know what? Being Black Mage on the Mammoth is especially fun. You just sit there. If you forgot to transpose in time, you're just sitting there with 0 MP, watching the Astral Fire tick down to 0, and then you have no state and no MP. You're just kind of sitting there like, oh boy, I can't wait to restart this rotation with nothing. Imagine if I could use Lucid Dreaming right now. No, I'm stunned. Wonderful. Exactly the way I like it. Oh, the boss is dead. Excellent. Just did nothing. The scariest is if the Mammoth repeatedly stuns the healer. Because it can do that. It just stun the healer 5 seconds, then 10 seconds. And then you have like less than 1 GCD, and then it does it again. Like, and if you don't heal yourself in that time, you're dead. Man, I should transpose between pulls after them. Oh, wait. Well, at least at level 52, you don't have polyglots. What level is it? Raw Intuition is 56. Yeah, Raw Intuition in Somal would be nice. If we had Raw Intuition in Somal, then I'm pretty sure Warrior would be like no-brainer, obvious choice. Like it's not even a discussion. It's just, well, we're going Warrior. Like the instant we go past level 56 in a doable, finishable dungeon, Warrior is probably going to be like the default choice. Like that probably beats Scholar simply because before, Warrior had the weakness that your healing came from Storm's Path and a little bit from Thrill of Battle, but Thrill of Battle's cooldown was so insanely long that you couldn't play for time. Like, you couldn't just run around and spam Tomahawk. You needed to get in and heal. So if the boss did too much damage to allow that, then you die. But now, like, Raw Intuition is only has a downtime of 19 seconds, so if you can stall for 19 seconds, you can go in and then you can heal up mostly. And when we get Equilibrium, it gets even better. So once we get Raw Intuition, I think Scholar will start to like fall behind because it's going to be lacking in defense. So the passive healing from the pet, like, yeah, it's nice, having shields is nice, but Warrior has armor, so it just doesn't take nearly as much damage. And if you can just kite for a little bit, then you can make up for the fact that you have less consistent healing. Yeah, once we have Raw Intuition, it's going to be Warrior Solo waiting room. And then it's just, can you do it? Depends pretty much on whether Warrior can do it. I think we also basically discovered that like in Snowcloak, that's when the tank busters are just by a smidgen, just barely weak enough that a healer can still eat them and be fine. Like the first boss had 2000 damage tank busters that came alongside auto attacks for 1000. That's half of a healer's HP. The second boss just did like 1200. And the third boss did 4000 with its tank buster and over 1000 damage with its auto attack. So it could just bam, 5000 damage. Which could kill you if you weren't topped up. That was the scary part of that fight. But yeah, I think we did good. I think it was nice that we could just demonstrate Castrum, because the thing is, if I had done Castrum like properly, try it again from the beginning, then we probably would have like not done Snowcloak. Then we just wouldn't have done Snowcloak, because the thing is, I would have had to, every time I wiped on Black Eft, I would have to exit, go in again, clear the trash again, go again on the boss, and if I wipe out and in again, like, maybe we wouldn't have tried anything other than Castrum. But yeah, I think it was better because we had already like demonstrated that the rest of the dungeon can be done with a weaker weapon as well. And then we also did the Praetorium with a Blue Mage, and we did Snowcloak with a Scholar. I think that's pretty good. I was really uncertain that we could do the first boss when I saw the amount of damage it did. But just like with Locksmith, we found a way. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw on this stream and would like to see these wonderful people a bit more, there's a Discord community server where you can find all these people. You can also find a weekly schedule where post what's happening on this YouTube channel every week. You will also see announcements every time I post a new stream, a new video, whatever it is. And you can opt in to get tagged for that. So you're not going to get like spammed with tags from the Discord server. It's optional. You choose to get tagged if you would like it. You can also just not. And if you enjoyed this stream, I would very much appreciate it if you considered leaving a like on the stream. That helps me very much. Thank you. And I think that's everything that I have. I hope you enjoyed, had fun, learned maybe something interesting. Yep, tomorrow I'm releasing a short version, a 1-minute version of a monk guide demonstrating the opener and very, very briefly going over the rotation. Not nearly enough to learn monk, but might be interesting as a teaser or refresher. And then Friday, we are having another 10 mechanics the game doesn't explain very well, which I hope you will find enlightening or interesting. A bunch of the people in the... well, at least a few people in the community helped me with some of the demonstrations. And... I hope that might make it a little bit more fun. You see the people that you know, other than me, of course, featuring in the video. Yeah. And of course, side quest, where we will be leveling Black Mage more. Now we have Foul. Yes, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon. In fact, good night or good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And I hope to see you all very, very soon. Good night.